Well, Mr. Jimoh Moshood is still with us. He's the Force Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Police. Well, just before we went on break, you were talking about politicians sponsoring this End SARS campaign. Is that right?
Yes, I made mention of it because the owner of the hashtag is being investigated. We know. No. Let me come. I think it's better you let me explain. We know freedom of expression is a right of every Nigerian under the Constitution, and we are not taking people up because they express their opinion. And Nigerians are good people. When you do good things, they appreciate you. If you do something that's not enough, they equally criticize you and use that as a dressing mirror for you to make adjustments. But where some intentions are furtherance of people's political, because you can see politicians queue in some politician with that credibility is quite unfortunate. I'm not mentioning any name, but this same Shega Awusoya Shegun is one of the hashtag, and we have seen this picture with various kind of crop of politicians, and we are investigating that for Nigeria to know the reason why. Because if you have encountered victim of robbery, you know that SARS should continue to exist.
Yeah, because I want to ask you, without prejudice, I don't know that people. I believe that people can start a hashtag and then other people will push it. I mean, it will only trend if a lot of Nigerians feel strongly about that particular topic.
We are not.
And it would seem that from the impression that we gather,
we are not against that.
A lot of Nigerians feel strongly about
against that.
But I'm wondering, you haven't responded to the fact of to how, you know, many SARS people are perceived. I mean, the SARS officials, how people see them on the road. I have seen them here in the Guzabe area.
You know,
and in many instances, I've had to re-examine more than once or twice if these are truly police officers in terms of how they are dressed up.
Thank you so much. You know, that is the second aspect of your question initially. And I want everybody listening to us or viewing us to know that when you have a police detachment as SARS, they are covert operatives, and they move out when the need arises. Because when you have incidents of robbery, you drafted them out to ensure that they are drafted out to ensure that they restore normalcy, apprehend the offender. But if you are approaching a robbery scene, if you are in a marked vehicle, marked police vehicle, you are in police uniform, the tendency is that you may not be able to get the perpetrator. SARS are specially trained to ensure that they encounter armed robbers. And the way they dress, there's a unified way of dressing. They wear black jackets with SARS inscription at the back and equally in the front. And people should watch out when you see them. And if you are not too sure, they have their ID card to identify themselves.
Did you say a black jacket?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Jacket
in other words, they're supposed to wear a black jacket.
No, a unified black jacket designed by the force. It was designed by the force.
I don't know that many Nigerians have seen that.
No. They have seen them even from the track up of. Like yesterday, I was on another television station. SARS personnel were track up in their uniform. When we turned them out for training, they were in that track uniform. But there's still other police personnel that are not SARS, and that is why this reorganization is important that it takes place around this time. For only federal SARS now exists in all the states of the federation, with a chief superintendent of police or a superintendent of police as commander. So the issue of divisional people coming out, because you have anti-crime patrol team equally at divisional level and even at the state CID level that go out when you have an incident of crime to ensure that perpetrators are arrested. And where you have a vehicle being snatched, for example, and the people are armed and they are going with the vehicle, SARS will quickly move in to make sure that such vehicle is intercepted and perpetrators are arrested. So if you look at the way they dress, it will not give us result if SARS people turn out in uniform. Because even if they are approaching a robbery scene with a marked police vehicle and police uniform, the tendency is that they do not have the desired result. But what we are saying is that anything that has to do with robbery, kidnapping, or other violent crime where the perpetrator use firearm, SARS are drafted, except in an extraordinary situation like you have crisis in some places, maybe in Adamawa, or that SARS team are equally. So people should know that there's a new reorganization of SARS. And their uniform, SARS will be written at the back of their uniform, and equally boldly in front of their, what they call the same uniform, and they wear steel helmet that equally bears SARS. So the result matters, and equally the process leading to that result equally matters to us, and that is why the IG has directed that they should be retrained again on human rights observance and handling of care and custody of suspects in their detention.
Well, that's a fine place to leave it, Mr. Jimoh Moshood. Thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily, as always. But You have heard him. Hopefully, you should be looking out for the reorganization. And also, SAS officials are supposed to be wearing helmets and jackets, and it should be boldly inscribed on their uniforms or their clothes, whatever it is they're wearing. And if you don't see that, please, by all means, do inform the police officers. Well, that will be it on this segment. Sunrise Daily will continue in a bit. Mr. Jimo Moshood joined us here in Abuja. He is the Force Public Relations Officer. The program will continue shortly. Please stay with us.